Hello, this is Team Gary. We're getting started with Science in the AM, and we're going to take a look where we left off yesterday. Remember, I asked you to finish up these questions. Page 23, 4, 5, 10, 12. Have them out right now. You can add on to them if you need to. We're going to quickly take them up as a group. You're going to mark, and I will check over and take remarks, though. But I want you to add in anything you need. Okay? Yep. So you forgot. Okay? Just be listening, and you can show me them tomorrow. Okay? So I need your answers, and then we'll build on that. Okay? The first question, number 4, was, hey, describe how an animal can reproduce by budding. Explain one advantage of this type of reproduction here. So, an answer is what I'm looking for, and somebody from the middle-ish area. Yes, good for you. You don't know because you don't have your book in front of you, but you don't even know off. What is it, guys? What is budding? Oh, come on. You guys have these done? I think so. Okay. Shh, 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 shh. Okay, we're listening now to Mike. Yes. Yeah. It's basically a little mini-me growing off the end. We saw that Hydra video or whatever, right? And there's actually a picture in the textbook of a Hydra, too. It doesn't happen to humans or large mammals and stuff like this budding. You don't see a little mini-me growing off my armpit and then pop off. We reproduce sexually, right? Okay, but, and what could be an advantage of it, guys? One advantage of this type of reproduction. Mass reproduction, yeah? No need to find a mate. And the kind of organisms that sometimes do this, they mention coral. They're not very movable, right? And stuff like this, so maybe that helps. Of course, though they're identical, and there's some disadvantages to having identical. But we'll get into that. That's why sexual reproduction is an advantage usually. 5, an individual produced by asexual reproduction may be identical to its parent. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? Support your answer. Now, I mentioned this one the other day. The video, though, that I recorded then got the computer screwed up, and I only had a 1-minute video in the end. I just said, this is the stuff we did. But you guys recall some, you have an opinion. I said I could accept either answer. Anyone, someone from the left or the extreme right sides. Oh, come on, do I have to pick people? Shane, you always have good things to say. 5, question 5. Asexual reproduction may be identical to its parent. Do you agree or disagree, and say why?
I agree because that's why they call it clones, because they sort of itself.
Okay. Yeah, in theory, yes. Okay, you agree. And the idea of a clone is that it's genetically the exact same. There may be small differences throughout a lifetime of a plant or an animal that's a clone because of maybe an injury or some environmental conditions. I even mentioned the other day. Essentially, genetically identical twins are the exact same. But if you know an identical twin set, you can usually tell them apart. Sometimes it's really tricky. Just small things like haircuts and stuff with people, right? And what they're wearing, style and stuff. But even then, as they age and stuff like this, you will have slight differences with scars and injuries and stuff like this. Also, through nutrition, just because you have an identical twin, you may actually end up different heights, and that might be just through nutrition and stuff like this, right? Just little things like that, too. You have the potential to be the exact same, right? Okay. Then 10 and 12. 10, identify methods of asexual reproduction used to produce potatoes. And the reason why those methods might be used. Now, potatoes have been brought up a couple times during this unit, this chapter. Anyway, I'll pick if anyone doesn't come up. Yeah. Let's hear what you have to say. You usually have great things to say. Yeah. Sure. Which category does that bring? So you mentioned you just plant the actual old potato. It's a seed potato. Do you know, is that spores, parthenogenesis, vegetative reproduction, budding, binary fission? What is it? It isn't spores. No? Okay, I'm going to go with Lucas here. Yeah, vegetative reproduction, stuff like that. And it's a vegetable, but that's not why it's, yeah, but yes. Because fruits do it too. Yeah. Anyways, but yes, vegetative reproduction. As long as you have an eye on the chunk of potato, it has a chance of growing into a clone of the original potato. Potatoes are rarely grown by seed. I don't know anyone who gardens with seeds for their potatoes. They use what we call seed potatoes, vegetative reproduction. And this might be used. You, why might it be used? Yeah. I guess so. You can use your own potatoes. Yeah, no money. And it's not even just the money. It just tends to grow quite well. Seeds generally aren't that expensive, though. If you ever notice in the spring, little packets of seeds are like, I don't know what the prices are now. They're not too expensive. 12, advantages and disadvantages of asexual reproduction. And you may add to this list as you go through the unit. So some advantages, back table. I haven't heard from anyone there. Sure. Sure, advantages we'll start with. Okay, I'm going to mention these things over again just so it's on the video better. So it's not necessary to find a second partner to reproduce, and that can be an advantage. That was one of your things. And since it's a clone, you were thinking there might be some better things for the environment and stuff like this. Also, with the clone idea, if you're cloning a really good plant that produces well, that's awesome too, right? Like you don't tend to intentionally clone something that's not growing well. Now, disadvantages. The disadvantage is also that they're clones. Why is that not necessarily a good thing in some conditions? Yeah, yeah. If they're all clones, then they're all susceptible to the same uh, diseases or some conditions in the environment. Change might not be great. And if you have variety from sexual reproduction, that can, some of them will survive better. Yes. It doesn't evolve. Yep. Yes. And there's no chance of variation over time, or very little. However, though, we know that evolution has happened. It's not the norm, though. Variations don't usually, genetic variations don't usually lead to what we call viable offspring. Uh, uh, Genetic variations don't usually lead to good things, or well, necessarily that are able to reproduce. So, extreme variations. But it has happened over millions and millions and millions of years. Slowly, there's some variations that lead to something that can reproduce. Sometimes it's an advantage, sometimes it isn't. Um, that's where evolution gets fascinating. Now, I am going to leave that section. I will, and I'm putting a sticky note on here right now for me to check on your cyanide. Check on. I'm just going to pause the video while I write. Now, starting the recording again. And we're going to look into sexual reproduction. We've mentioned all that sexual reproduction really means is that two genetic inputs. You have harems, I guess you could say. And it's two different, you get variety because you have two different genetic inputs into the new. Now, we're going to flip to page 27 and 28. We're going to do a little bit of a chart activity here. I'm going to pause the video while I bring up my page 27. Okay. Let's start with a little bit of reading on page 27, 28, 27, I guess we'll start with. Okay, sexual reproduction. And it starts with a photo of sperm, multiple sperm, one egg. Okay, only one of the many sperm surrounding this egg will fertilize the cell. When you hear sexual reproduction, you might be thinking sperm and egg. Okay, so that makes sense if that photo's up. What is sexual reproduction? It usually involves two individuals. You might think that sexual reproduction always involves a male and a female because you're familiar with humans and other mammals. However, sexual reproduction also occurs in species that we may not think of having males and females. Plants, coral, sometimes. There are definite male parts and female parts to plants, though, too. Pistils and stamens and stuff like this, but that's other classes. Explore that. It used to be in Bio 20, not sure anymore. Okay, continuing on with the reading. The text. Sexual reproduction in plants or animals is the union of two sex cells, also called gametes, to produce a new individual. Sex cells formed from females are called the eggs, or ova. Single is ovum. Whereas sex cells from males are called sperm. Sex cell has one role only, and it's to join with another sex cell during reproduction to form new individuals. You can see some pictures there and stuff like that on the right-hand side. The union of sperm cell with egg cell occurs during mating, and it's called fertilization. Okay, that makes sense. Most species of animal and flowering plants, remember I mentioned this, plants that flower, right? They form true seeds that are formed through sexual reproduction, and they reproduce sexually. The offspring of sexual reproduction will have a mixture of traits, features from both parents. You can see the puppies there. Oh, they're so cute. Anyways, producing offspring that have a mix of traits from both parents is important for biological diversity. So differences, variations. You probably, if you have siblings, brothers and or sisters, you would know that, yeah, you guys, you're the same but different, right, within a family. So I have three siblings, one brother, two sisters. We are quite different when we look. Anyways, same parents, stuff like that. And there's a lot of variation in it. Now, continue on with the reading. For First Nations and Métis people, sexual reproduction is not simply a process whereby cells join. Elders teach that sexual reproduction bears sanctity as sexual reproduction produces life. The elder Velma Goodfeather explains that in the Dakota culture, sexual reproduction is seen as a healthy, sacred, and very natural means that enables living things to grow again. Okay? Reproduction, as seen by traditional Dakota people, is a continual cycle whereby one generation gives life to the next and promotes the propagation of life. Most First Nations and Métis peoples believe that all living things are sacred. No one organism, be it plant, insect, human, is more important than the other. Now, if you ask an oak tree or something like this, they might think that they're more important. We're going to take a look at this activity. This is page 28. Variations of characteristics within our class. We're going to look around at our classroom and our peers. Everyone looks different. You're able to tell everyone apart just by looking at them. Some traits are more common than others. So in general, we all have a nose, two eyes, etc. But there's some other characteristics. To observe variation within a group of people. We're going to start by looking at this figure, 1.38. Let me just see something. It's at the bottom. So within this, widow's peak. You guys understand that? It's Not as common. Do you guys know though? Like I remember on Sesame Street when I was a kid, the Count had that classic widow's peak. Do you guys know if I'm talking about that? That point down, right? You can see the picture of the girl there. It has a slight widow's peak. Not exaggerated, right? Hitchhiker's thumb. I can't bend my thumb that way, the way that that person can, right? When it's bent, I can't curve it like that, right? I can curve it. You guys see the difference? When I curve it. Can you do that? Can you curve your thumb and bend it like that? Okay? Some people can. Some people just have the inability. I don't know. Okay? Hitchhiker's thumb. So it's the straight part right. Roll your tongue. Can you do that? Some people cannot. There's got to be. Now, some people aren't going to try because they think they look silly. So you can just do it in private. You probably know. Can somebody volunteer that they can't? They don't have to show that they can't. You can't, Mike? Okay, that's fine. Peyton, you don't? You can? Okay, just because pretty well everyone else did this and just, I was just noticing the people who can't. Okay? How about detached earlobes or attached? Most are somewhat detached. You guys know what we're talking about, right? You have that little divot in there, like, or is it straight into the ear like a puppet? Like, you know what I mean? Oh, you have detached, Lucas, yeah. Yeah, it depends too. You can exaggerate it if you had, if you gauged your ears and stuff like this, they'll really start, you know. Okay, so let's just take a look here. I've got it, you saw this written up. And we're going to do a little poll in the class here. We're going to observe each student, record which traits they exhibit, add the total number of students that exhibit each trait, calculate the percent, so on. What's most common in our class? Every year I do this, it's different. Oh, but predictions, right. It's right now. I think we can already say hairline. Widow's peak versus straight. What do you think is the most common? Just by a quick straight. Tom, what do you think? Hitchhiker's thumb versus straight. Okay. Tongue, roll or not to roll? I think so. Everybody, most of you stuck out your tongues right away to roll. Some just can't. What about attached or unattached earlobes? Unattached seems. We're going to find out though. So I don't even think we need to actually write that in right now, but I'm going to flip to this. So within this, we're going to do this. See this chart here? Basically, this is what you guys are going to give you guys some time to write out. The variation is hairline, thumb, tongue, earlobe, and the choice is this or that. And you guys can list in here how many, we'll just do a tally and stuff like this. I am going to get you guys to do this. So I'm going to leave this to you, and you guys can survey the class. You guys figure this out. You're getting the numbers, whether you organize it as a small chart, a large chart, or whatever. What's there today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Out of 22, you're gonna have somehow widow's peak. 3 out of 22, then 19 out of 22 for the other, or whatever it is, right? That's what you're gonna come up with. So think of each one of these columns as 2 different entries. I'll just give an example. So you might just be going like this. 3 out of 22, 19 out of 20. Oh my God, whatever. Hey, now we're going out of 23. Out of 23. I'm going to pause the video and we're going to continue. You guys do the data. We are, hello everybody. I'm going to get you guys to pay attention with me. Thanks. I'm going to just bring this back up on the board here. And I've got Hitchhiker's Thumb because I know most years I have to look it up with people because we like sometimes have different results, and it's going to come up on the board in a second. Okay. Are we all categorizing Hitchhiker's Thumb the same way? So, different websites do it differently, but we got to at least all have the same type of data. How are we doing it? Now, you guys know 90 degrees is like a normal corner, right? Like in a building, in a room, right? Okay. With Hitchhiker's Thumb, I don't consider myself having it. I can bend my thumb in, but can you bend it? Maxwell, you're kind of 90 degrees-ish, right? Just show your thumb up. I'm sure people. That's a Hitchhiker's Thumb. I do not.
I think you do because I cannot do that. Like this is the maximum.
Yeah, you can't do that. I can't do that.
Okay, well, I'm definitely not 90 degrees, and it depends on what definition are we going to use. 90 degrees is pretty extreme. Maxwell definitely has that. It says here hypermobility in the thumb joint. Now, it depends too. Some people talk about I can't do this, that Z shape, I can't do that. So if we're using that definition, I'm definitely not. Now, I have seen more than 50 degrees. You know what 45 degrees is approximately, right? I have used that some years. It depends what we decide on. Now, we're going to decide on this right now here. I'll just take a look. Genetics of Hitchhiker's Thumb. I have seen more than 50. What is Hitchhiker's Thumb with a picture? Which bends backwards when extended. Now, are we going to use 90 degrees or are we going to use 50 degrees? This is our class question. Okay, wait. What are we using? 50 degrees or 90 degrees? 50? Okay, that's what you guys were doing when you were collecting data? Okay. Okay, then maybe I'd say I do qualify.
I knew it.
I don't have it like the cool one like Max does. Okay. So, Widow's Peak is pretty easy to identify, but let's go through these things. Okay. We're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now, Widow's Peak.
Yeah.
Oh, like Ronald McDonald? Yeah, okay, McDonald's hairline. Not the McDonald's waistline, right? Okay. Okay, I see what you're saying, yeah. And I always thought, I also brought up that the whole count on Sesame Street, if you know what I'm talking about, the whole pointed, I think that's an exaggerated Widow's Peak, right? So, what did we get, Shane? What did you get for people? How many Widow's Peaks out of 24? You didn't collect that data? Okay, who collected data for Widow's Peak?
I did it. It was 23.
Yeah, 23 normal, straight.
Yeah.
Who has, one Widow's Peak?
Yeah.
This is good. No, this is good. Yeah, you should be proud. So let's put this in here. 1 out of 24. 23 out of 24. Okay. So we can do a quick survey now too. Hey, you qualify, don't you? We have 2. Okay, just a second here. How many people think they have a Widow's Peak? 2? Mike? They have that. So I'm going to change this. Faulty data. 2. Hang on. 2 out of 24. 22 out of 24. Now, with the Hitchhiker's Thumb, let's all just stick out our thumbs and just see real quickly. Because what's the data that Shane got?
Yeah.
What'd you get? How many Hitchhiker's Thumbs?
Not good.
How many? Not that it's not good. It's a rare.
I did it wrong, so
Okay, you're done. Somebody else collect data for this? Who has a hitchhiker's thumb? I know Max does. You guys are telling me that I do? Okay, we're gonna go with the 50, not the 90 degrees. No.
I have deformed thumbs and they're different shapes.
Okay, you have a hitchhiker's thumb.
Some people's thumbs aren't 90 degrees. They're so messed up. Your thumbs are so whack.
Yeah? Oh, you do?
I knew it.
Or what?
All noted. I got-
So how many hitchhiker's thumbs? Who feels they have a hitchhiker's thumb? Raise your hand with your thumb up in the air. What do you guys think with Anna Lilia?
Whoa.
You got gamer's thumbs. Yeah. Anyways, so how many, okay, wait, I still haven't got a show of hands. Me and, hey, hands up if you have a hitchhiker. 1, 2, who else? 3.
Yeah,
Come on, Tyler, let's see, let's see.
Tyler, your thumb is whack. No, I'm
You're
kidding.
not even trying.
Kidding.
Okay, we won't. We won't.
Kidding.
Nope.
Kidding has one. I've seen it.
Okay, we're going with just 3 then.
How you flying?
Okay.
It's 4. I knew I was right here.
No, it's just close to it, but not quite. We're going with 3. Well, you can have your set of data, we have ours.
Thanks, David.
Okay? Tug rolling. How many, this is easier to say, how many cats? Who was non-roller? At Mike? Other non-rollers?
Kale. Like, I messed
2?
with that because your thumbs are whack.
Just 2 non-rolling thumb, or non-rolling tongues? Okay, 2. So I'm gonna go with this, 2 non-rollers. 22. And then, how many attached earlobes? Usually that's the smaller number.
No one did that.
Attached, 1. How many people feel they have attached earlobes? 1 person. There was somebody else. 2 people. 3 people attached. Straight in, no like, yours hangs. Okay, 1, 2, 3. That's it? Yours is hanging. Yeah, it has the curl, or the curve to it. Yours is straight in, I think.
I got elf here.
Elephant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, elf here.
Hey, you. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you're like.
So should we go with 3 attached earlobes?
No.
I did that one.
Yeah.
I did not.
Yo, I told you.
Okay, in the next class, what I am going to do tomorrow, because we don't have the time now, 5, 7, and 8. And I'm just recording this just so that we have this in case you're missing tomorrow. 5, 7, and 8 from that page is what you're going to write up. This is our kind of, I guess you'd say, activity / lab. Okay? Not